Hello, my name is Andrea Sheely, and today we are going to talk about occupational therapy and models or frames of reference. So the first question reads, identify an occupational therapy model or frame of reference where the environment plays a large role. So the model I identified is Person Environment Occupation, better known as the PEO model. The model encompasses the environment by using it in the intervention and treatment plan. Use of the PEO model allows the practitioner to not only assess the client's ability to perform the occupation itself, but also their environment. Environment is known as the context in which the occupation is being performed, and the PEO model allows practitioners to look at aspects of the environment, including the social environment, the physical environment, and even the virtual environment. For example, a physical environment may include a client is going to perform a toilet transfer. What does the bathroom look like? Is it small? Is it large? Does it have grab bars? Does it have area rugs that could trip and cause hazards for the client? A social part of that is, does the client have a caregiver that needs to assist with the toilet transfer and the environment is too small and the caregiver can't fit? How is the caregiver part of that environment? So these are all important things to look at. So the next thing the question reads, briefly explain what the model or frame of reference is and who is the originator. So the model was established in 1996 by a couple of different people. They include Mary Law, Barbara Cooper, Susan Strong, Deborah Stewart, Patricia Rigby, and Lori Letts. The model is where there is a balance of person, environment, and occupation, and when there's a true balance of all three of these aspects, the client's occupational performance is maximized. The assessment of all three aspects allows the practitioner to develop a well-rounded care plan. By addressing each component, the practitioner can implement the intervention techniques to improve the functional outcomes of the client. Factors a practitioner is going to look at for the environment, like I mentioned earlier, is the physical, the social, the virtual. There's many parts of environment that we need to be assessing as practitioners. So the third question reads, identify how this model or frame of reference could be utilized when running a group. Keep in mind your population. So using the PEO model with a group of clients experiencing psychosocial issues would allow the OT to address the client's occupational performance through the person, environment, and occupation. So we're going to focus on environment, and the first thing I would recommend is that the practitioner is as familiar as possible with the environment prior to running the group. So this comes down to small little details like where are the light switches, how do you control the remotes if you're going to be using a television, a computer, music. Make sure that you're familiar with those aspects of the environment. That way the group can run as smoothly as possible. Addressing the environment in a group setting may also consist of how close are the clients. So if you're doing an activity that involves yoga and the clients are stretching, they need to be an appropriate distance apart. So we need to assess, do we have too many clients in the environment, or can we go to an environment that is larger or maybe more appropriate for that group? The physical environment may be aspects where is the environment too loud, or is there a need to kind of reduce the music in the environment if you have more people in a smaller space. So the environment plays a huge role when you're running a group. Anticipating the environment prior to the group is really going to help the practitioner run the group and focus on the client and the occupation being performed during the group. So it's great, like I said before, to be able to have the opportunity to kind of control the environment as much as possible prior to the group. The fourth question reads, share why understanding a client's environment is important as an occupational therapy practitioner. So the environment can facilitate or hinder the client. Obviously, we want it to facilitate it, but hindering is also a huge aspect that I feel like we run into in the clinic a lot of times. For example, we have a client who is experiencing psychosocial issues of anxiety. Maybe their environment is too loud, too busy, too cluttered. The client could easily be distracted and unable to handle all the sensory input that they're experiencing in that environment. And that can cause an overwhelming feeling from just a chaotic environment, context where they just can't handle everything that's occurring in that place, that location. So, as the OT practitioner, addressing the environment by decluttering, limiting noise can truly improve the client's occupational performance. The environment may also need to be moved. I mentioned that earlier. If you're kind of running a group and you have too many clients, do you reduce the number of clients or do you move to a bigger environment if it's available? So let's say we have a client who has attention issues, they have anxiety, they're not able to handle those loud, busy environments, and they're in a room where it's at the front of the building. They're towards the entrance where a lot of people are going in and out, there's a lot of people walking by, there's people talking outside in the lobby area. That may not be the appropriate environment for our client. So it's very important to make sure that we are assessing not only the client and the occupation that they're performing, but what is our environment? Is this helping or is this hindering our client? So instead of keeping that client in an environment, in a room close to the lobby where there's a lot of action going on, let's move them to a back room. Let's move them to the end of the hallway where it's quieter, not as many people go down there, there's not people walking by, and see if we can really help and assist them to be able to maintain their attention in the appropriate environment. As a OT practitioner, it's important to assess not only the client and the occupation, like I said, but also the environment. Small changes in the environment can truly make a huge difference in the client's ability to perform occupations. Thank you. Have a great day.